Good morning. Emotionally today, I'm sort of in that in-between place. I'm not feeling drained like yesterday or elated like the day before. I'm just sort of in the middle, somewhere I'm feeling it all, but nothing overwhelming. The title that I've selected for this morning is 2012 Uncovering the Massive Lies. And the blurb that I wrote is Conspiracy has been made a taboo word by the powers that used to be. People using it have been labeled lunatics and worse. Personally, I'm not afraid to use the word. If I've learned anything over the last several years of my life, I've learned that there's a conspiracy so massive and so widespread that it affects everyone's life on this planet in multiple ways. During this awakening, the massive lies we have been told will continue to come to light until we are all liberated. I don't think this will happen all at once, though. It will more likely be a process of uncovering the massive lies. I've been brainwashed most of my life. I'm probably still brainwashed in ways that I don't even realize yet. That's how massive the conspiracy is. It has infiltrated my psyche tremendously. And don't think I'm the only one. Because if you think you haven't been infiltrated, you live in a dream world. You're in la la land. You haven't woken up to the basic reality of this world and your place in it. You don't even see the bigger picture. I got an email yesterday on a thread, one of the threads to yesterday's video on Facebook that used a phrase that I think is very appropriate for today's talk. And it was Ansa Jones, Annnsha. She's one of my friends on Facebook. I didn't look up where she's from. But in any case, she was responding to one of the previous posts by Aristos, my friend from Greece, who I've mentioned in other videos, tremendously brilliant physicist and just an all-around brilliant person, a genius. But anyway, Miss Jones wrote, Ari, what you have said above is a really clear way of expressing this cycle, and one of the hardest things to do as it goes against conditioning. I can understand how this might well upset some who have learned that the whole answer is to focus on love and light, ignore, repress the rest as bad, rather than take in the whole spectrum of our beingness. I'm not saying this from a superior stance because this is my background, and for many years I thought that was the best way to enlightenment. But at some point I realized I experienced great depths as well, and no amount of just focusing on the positive fixed it. That was when, as you know, Ari, I began to accept the lows within as well. Having spent a few years struggling with the practice of what you have described above, I know that, while it is hard for me to do, it brings a quiet sense of inner strength with a solid groundedness in being. From my point of view as a recovering spiritual bypass junkie, I love it. It is certainly a struggle not to return to the habit of repressing emotional flow. Spiritual bypass. And she winks with a smile. Oh, beautiful, beautiful comment. And I get so many wonderful, wonderful comments and threads and private emails. Some of the private emails are like almost like a small book. I swear it takes me sometimes 20 minutes to read some of them. Anyway, I absolutely loved that spiritual bypass junkie uh, answer or label. I think that's a really good one. I remember when I met my friend Bamboo John many years ago, he gave me his card and he wrote on it "Recovering Fundamentalist," because I'm a recovering fundamentalist, and anybody that's been involved in any religion for any period of time have to realize too. This is hard to get for those of you that are embedded in any religion. I don't care what it is. If you're really into the religion and you think that the religion is the right way, the truth, man, when you wake up to the fact that that's part of your conditioning too, it's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of you. And I don't know what the process Spirit's going to use, but you're going to realize that even the conditioning and the brainwashing has infected every one of the world religions without exception. If you live in this world, if you're on this planet, if you've been here multiple lifetimes, as I believe most of us have, then you've been infected with the virus of the conspiracy and of the brainwashing and of the history that the elite, that the powers that want to continue being have foisted upon us, and they foisted it in every way imaginable. It doesn't even matter if you're an atheist and have claim to have no religion. Atheism is your religion, and there's infiltration and madness in that. There's insanity in that too. We have all been infiltrated by massive lies, and we've all believed them, and we all still believe some of them to a great degree. And there's nothing that's going to change that until we're willing to open our minds and open our hearts and to recognize the absolute impossibility of separation from anything. That's a scientific fact. We are all interconnected, and what happens here affects what happens way over there, even if it's on the other side of the galaxy. Now, I don't think they have scientific tests that prove that, but they have made scientific tests that prove that something can happen here and affect something else over there hundreds of miles at least away, or kilometers away. They have proven that when something happens on one side of the globe, it can be known instantly on the opposite side of the globe. No time in between, because it's all interconnected. Life is a single web. And the big lie, I've said it before, the big conspiracy is that you're separate from God, you're separate from, when you think you're separate from your Creator, which we live in the Creator. The Creator is the universe. The Creator is the cosmos. It contains everything. It's all that is. We live there, folks. And if you think you can be separate for that because you believe some lie or because you believe some truth, you're connected, man, wake up. Wake up. Now, I listened to a video yesterday. I listen to several videos every day from my friend Christian. Is that his name? Christian or something like that? In Australia. And he's going on and on and on about the name and about all the things that he's uncovered. And he's not lying. And he's saying we've got to stop using the name because the conspiracy is that they control us through the paperwork. Indeed, they do. Indeed, they do. That's what this whole lawsuit that I've been involved in about. It's a battle of paperwork. And one of the advice that I'm giving is don't play the game. You know, don't enter in to the game with them. But I have to enter into the game with them because if I don't enter into the game and give a response to what they say, I'm agreeing with what they say. That's the game. Do I like playing it? Absolutely not. But it's a game that has to be played. This idea of just dropping out of the world and just pretending the world doesn't exist is part of the spiritual bypass junkie mentality. Yes, the Vatican has perpetrated lie upon lie, and the commercial system by far and large comes from Roman law, from the Vatican. And the Vatican infiltrated Christianity at the very beginning. And even some of the creeds and the things that they decided, this is the gospel. Some of that isn't true. Some of that is not true. They took out a lot of scriptures. They denied a lot of scriptures that taught reincarnation, for example, because that wasn't a convenient doctrine to know that we're here for a purpose of getting it right and we're going to keep coming back until we do. That's the game of life itself. We're going to keep coming back. That's the way creation unfolds itself. That's the way wisdom is developed, through the act of experiential reality, experiencing our life in a flow that's an illusion, in that it doesn't last forever. And the word illusion is another one of the brainwash things. Well, it's just an illusion. Well, yes, if you mean by just an illusion that it's not permanent, you're right. It's just an illusion. In that respect, everything is illusion, because the only thing that lasts forever is change. The only thing that lasts forever is the creation of evolution. They used to be words that opposed each other. We've been taught that if you believe in evolution, then you're off the deep end, because this is a created world by a great creator. Indeed it is. And the method used for creation is evolution in many respects. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that one species evolves totally from another species. I don't believe that. Might be, but I don't believe it. See, and the reason that I hold things so loosely now is because I realize how many times in my life I've been wrong. How many times in my life I've believed something to be true, only to later discover new evidence that undermined the truth that I once thought was true, making it no longer true for me. And that's an evolutionary process in thinking. That's part of the awakening process. And I don't think that we awaken overnight, although we have some tremendous aha moments. We have some tremendous times where we're knocked off our horse, and a great light shines from heaven, and a booming voice cries out, "I am Jesus whom thou persecutest," as happened with Paul and as recorded in the Bible, Saul actually of Tarsus, who became the Apostle Paul. Do I believe that that thing actually happened? Yeah, I do. Do I believe that everything in the scriptures has been made up and is fiction? Yeah, some of it has, but most of it hasn't. I believe a lot of it, even the historical stuff, is true. But maybe I'm wrong. So I don't hold it tight. I may still have that belief. I still call myself a Christian because I'm a Christian in deed. I'm a Christian in what I do. I live principles that I believe are Christian principles. But I also realize that the same principles in many respects are Buddhic principles, are Muslim principles, are Jewish principles, are Hindu principles, are Taoist principles. Name the religion, it doesn't matter. I've said that before, and that makes a lot of people upset because you want your religion to be special. You want your Messiah to be the special Messiah. Well, even the Jews and even the Muslims think that Jesus was the Messiah. He was the special anointed one. They may not use the word Messiah. The Jews do, of course. The Muslims use a different word, and I can't think of it right off the top of my head now. But he was the one that they expect to return. Not Muhammad, not the prophet, but Jesus, but the Christ. And how is the Christ returning? The massive lie is that it's just one being returning with great power to subdue the earth and say, "Whoa, I'm in charge here, man." That's top-down stuff. No, the way evolution works is it works from the bottom up. It's from the inside out. And that's the truth. The lie is that it's imposed from the top. It's imposed from a position of authority. No, it rises up from a position of life, from an experiential life process in which we begin to uncover the truth layer by layer, step by step, and all of a sudden our eyes come open and we say, wait a minute. I've been bullied and brainwashed into thinking I've got to fight everything, into thinking that I've got to separate myself. Come out of them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, quoting the Bible. And so we think we've got to separate ourselves. I'm telling you, the way out is not by separation. Let us go forth unto Christ outside the camp. That's again separation. It's one that I like because I went outside the camp. It was part of my process of separating myself from what I knew as the church. But I never separated myself, in fact, from the church because the church is a mythical reality. It is a mystical truth about creation that can't be denied. And truths that are true cannot be denied ultimately. Any truth that can be denied and that can have plausible arguments against them can't be the truth then, can it? Can it? Which is why, again, I hold my truth lightly. I don't grasp it tightly and say I'm right and everybody else is wrong. Neither do I say that you've got to stop using your name and stop being part of the game of life. You've got to do the dance. That's how we ground the energy of truth and shine our lights in the darkness. That's how we do it. We don't do it by separating ourselves. Now, there might be times in your life when separation is necessary, when you come apart for a time to recharge your batteries and refresh your spirit. There's a time and a place for that. But ultimately, we have to be involved because this transformation of the world involves you, it involves me, it involves every other person, even the ones on the dark side. It's involving them. Each is playing a role, and the whole thing is uncovering the massive lies we've been told. And the massive liars continue to play their game. They continue their paperwork against me and against many others. They continue their march. Because the time is up, and they know it. But the game continues to be played. The lies continue to be unfolded and uncovered. And they are in you, and they are in me. They are in all of us. We are all recipients of the great lie that we could be separate from the one who created us. Though we make our beds in hell, though we live in the pig pen as the prodigal son, we awaken and we realize we've never been separated from the love of God, nor could we ever have been. That is the Creator. The Creator is love. And that's not authority. That's friendship. That's friendship. It's even deeper than that. The Creator is wedded to the creation. That's why God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten son and daughter, and son and daughter, and son and daughter, because there's only one, and that's the Christ. That was the Word made flesh. That is eternal. Before the heavens were, the Word was. I am. Let there be light. And there was light, and the light shined into the darkness, and for a long time the darkness did not comprehend the light. That's changing now as we uncover the massive lies and awaken to the truth that I am love and so are you. Namaste.